You can't really manufacture a God moment, but God often appears to us in beauty and in deep pain and a lot of places in between. And I think that there's something about having the eyes to begin to see that. And that's what we're trying to do this summer, is try to train our eyes, try to train our minds, our hearts to be aware of God's presence. I've been trying to do this, and last week I was on the youth choir tour with the Journey Youth Choir. There are about 80 of us that went on this youth choir tour to Chicago. A week ago, Saturday night, we went to Wrigley Field, which was, okay, that's a bucket list item for me, and that was pretty cool. But the next morning, Sunday, was just a really special day. We had this incredible worship service at Mandel United Methodist Church in Chicago, and historically African-American church in the inner city, and we had a magnificent experience. And then we went that afternoon, and we went to a place called Misericordia. And Misericordia means Hearts of Mercy, and it's a home for adults and children with special needs, developmental disabilities. And our kids did a concert there, and there were many adults and children in the room, and their helpers who were there in the room. And it was, they were doing their concert, and they'd done it every day. We'd done a concert, sometimes multiple concerts at different places, and so it was nothing out of the ordinary. And they were singing the same songs I'd heard them sing before. But it was when they got to Amazing Grace, my chains are gone. And when they started singing Amazing Grace, there's just this thing that happened. And I can't really fully describe it for you, but a young woman, one of the residents of this Misericordia home there in Chicago, she stood up and she began in sign language to sign the words to Amazing Grace. And then my chains are gone. And there was something about the pure joy in which she was both receiving and giving in that moment. And as I looked around at the other residents, how joy-filled they were in that moment. I began to tear up and to cry. And I had to turn away from the other adults because I did not want them to see that I was crying. And so I just kind of turned away, was trying to gather myself, and I looked back around, and all the other adults were crying, and the workers were crying, and some of our kids in the choir singing were crying, and it was just this most magnificent God moment where God's grace was so real and evident in that place.